Who is bigger? Mr. Bigger, Mrs. Bigger, or their baby?
The baby.
Okay, I'll give you that. But why?
I don't know.
Okay,
It just seems like
okay,
it's
fine.
right.
I'll give you that. Shame. I'll give you that
Why
because
is it right?
the baby is a little bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah, Mr. Bigger, Mrs. Bigger, baby
A
little.
little bigger.
Yeah. What is always coming but never arrives?
A train?
Nah, the train always arrives.
Wait.
The answer is tomorrow
How does tomorrow not arrive?
because we are in today.
Okay.
Is it legal for a man to marry his widow's sister?
Yeah?
Nah.
It's illegal?
Yeah.
Is
No,
this a trick?
but since he is dead, it wouldn't be hard to do so.
Who's dead? The man?
The widow's husband.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Yes, people, this is I, Rudy Samuel, and today I've got Erica. I saw her work and I was a huge fan of what she does, and I said she can come through onto my channel. So, ladies and gents,
Erica Watum.
thank you so much for coming onto the channel. She is the first female, by the way. You know, I got lots of flack for that, but it's all good. You know, we out here. So, you can tell us, about your life, where you from, where you grew up, and how you got to have your magazine.
All right. So I'm a first generation South African born to Congolese immigrants. And I grew up very thankfully. I was able to live all over this African continent. And I think in moving around at such a young age and being exposed to so many different cultures, it instilled a lot of curiosity in me, particularly when it came to understanding the different arts and culture that I would encounter when I'd move to these new countries. And so when I finished high school, I think I was just so tired of moving around that I kind of wanted to, before going to uni, even if it was just a gap year, stay home and build something for myself that I knew maybe after, I could call it quits, or if it turned into something great, I could, keep working on it. And that's where the idea of Buffer Magazine came.
And before we go on any further, first of all, you are the only person that says I am a first generation South African born to Congolese immigrants. We all just say Congolese, South African born Congolese.
Yeah.
But anyway, where is home for you? What is home? Because you've been so many places and you just said you wanted to, just chill for a bit and then start again. So what do you call home and why?
I think for me, and I know other people that have similar backgrounds as me can resonate with this, but I think home is not a place, it's a feeling.
That's deep.
So I think for me, home is literally everywhere, because all the countries that I've lived in have left such massive impacts on my life, especially from the people that I met there and the experiences that I attached to those places. So I think home is Africa, as cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah, true.
I really hate to say that, to be that guy, but this continent is home
Africa.
for me.
Yeah. And if you don't mind telling us, where did you grow up? What some of the countries that you grew up in?
So South Africa, of course, but I spent time in Mali, in West Africa, in Uganda, as well as the DRC.
How do you end up in Mali and Uganda?
Very randomly, but I blame my parents for that one.
Fair enough, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. And then, so these places then kind of played a role which led you to Buffer Magazine. What is Buffer Magazine?
So I'm very proud to say that Buffer Magazine is a non-profit, 100% eco-friendly and online arts and culture magazine that's created especially for international Black youth. So what we act as is a space and a platform for young and emerging Black talent from anywhere in the world to collaborate with us, let us interview them, get to know them, and share their story on this platform.
So if it's an online magazine, why eco-friendly? Because we always associate eco-friendly with saving the planet, global warming. How is it eco-friendly?
Yes, in part that does play a role. I think as we're moving and progressing as a society, it's no shock to anyone the very big damages that are taking place on the environment and the globe. And technology and digital in general is the future, especially when we look at Africa and how Africa will be developed. It's all through technology. Biggest reason though is because I knew I really wanted this business to be, not necessarily the business, but I knew I really wanted the magazine itself to be a tool, an educational tool that would not be for my economical benefit. And so when looking at my different options, I felt that by making it digital and online, I would be able to have a much wider audience because the magazine could literally be distributed and read no matter where you are in the world, so long as you have internet connection, and that's free.
So that is why you said non-profit. So then why specifically young Black youth?
Okay, listen. I'm gonna get real here.
No problem.
History did not benefit people like us.
True.
Especially when we look at what has happened in the arts world and how difficult it is for young Black people to emerge, not just young Black people as a whole. We're a very big community that I feel time and time again has been let down by the system and by institutionalization in every industry, including in the arts industry. You find that we have it so much harder, and not just us as Black people, but artists of color in general. And you find that the issues get even worse when you look at age and you take age into a factor. Young people, society, older generations really struggle in giving us a chance and understanding the value that we carry. Same thing when you look at young Black women, you find that time and time again, doors are constantly being closed in their faces and giving
still happens today.
And so I felt that if they don't want to give us a platform and they don't want to give us a seat at the table, we have every reason and every right to create that platform for ourselves.
That's amazing. That I don't even know, because you're like so young, but your thoughts are like, so old. And how do you get to this point of saying, I'm gonna fight for my people? Because it's not easy, especially being so young, and I'm sure your parents are protective over you. How do you get out of that?
I think education has definitely played a very big part of that. And I can say all of these things that I've learned that pushed me to do this were things that I did not learn formally, like in school. If you really are passionate about something or something intrigues you, from a very young age, I think I was always very inquisitive and wanted to know more.
So you asked why a lot?
Yes, up to now, I can tell you the biggest arguments that I tend to have, even with my parents, is always based on the question of why, because I think that definitely played a big role in it. Just choosing and taking responsibility and ownership of the knowledge that you put into your brain and into your life. And
also going further, how can one feature on this magazine? How can one be a part of this magazine?
So it's a lot easier than you might think. All it takes... Lately though, even Instagram is a very good way via our DM. Is a good way to just ask a question and get a direct response. But if you go on our website, www.buffermagazine.com, and you click on the menu and you read all the pages, the very last page is one entitled Be Featured in Buffer. All it takes is you fill out the form, you leave your name, where you come from, and just
And your story as well.
yeah, a very, very brief, can be a couple sentences about what you do and what you think you can offer this community. And I promise I read every single submission, every single email, and to the ones that really speak out to me, those
Obviously,
are the ones.
Yeah. They get a part.
Yeah.
So this Buffer magazine, how did you come up with the name Buffer? Because we always associate Buffer with YouTube and that thing that takes longer than the Wi-Fi connection is bad. So how did you come around to the name Buffer?
It's not as romantic or beautiful as you might think. Honestly speaking, when I was going to register the trademark Buffer magazine, arts and culture magazine for Black youth, all the other names I wanted were taken. And so I had to go back and think. And so I sat down and I looked at the essence of what this business was going to stand for.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, I knew that I wanted it to be a safe space at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
A safe space for people like me that, if it wasn't for platforms similar to ours, would maybe have a very difficult or rough or even sometimes traumatic experience breaking into the arts world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on dictionary.com and I looked at the thesaurus and I typed in protective barrier, protective space, and just looked at all the different words that came up, and buffer was the one that really stood out to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And Buffer magazine, what's the team? Who's the team? Is it just you on your own? Do you have a managing director?
So I
content creator?
can't ever take all the credit for this business, because if I did that, I knew I would be lying. For the most part, in the day-to-day operations, yes, I wear many hats of co-director, editor, founder. But in the board of directors, I took on my entire family. So they're all registered along with me as the directors. But apart from that, our community is my team.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it wasn't for all these young people that are so hungry and so talented and so willing to get their work out there, essentially I wouldn't have a business. So if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't give me content. And if I didn't have content, I wouldn't have this magazine.
True.
So every single issue that comes out is months and months of curating and interviews and writing and articles that are all done in collaboration with the different artists that we feature.
Interesting. Yeah. Is your magazine quarterly, monthly, bi-weekly, and what is it?
So in our first year of business, we've set ourselves up as being quarterly, with 4 publications coming out in the calendar year. But outside of those issues, especially now in this year, and as we're looking to grow, we're looking at having a constant release online on our social medias and the website of content and articles and interviews that are constantly coming out, so that when there's not an issue to look forward to, at least the audience has something else that they can be entertained by.
And would you ever, maybe later on in life, would you ever consider going...
Print?
Yeah, print, hard copy, yeah.
Okay, I get asked this question constantly. To that, I think for archival purposes, sure. I think for my own collection, it's definitely something I'm looking into, just so that, I don't know, it's something I can look back on, it's something I can hold and
something tangible.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think something that we've been looking into, maybe when we reach a 5-year anniversary or a 10-year anniversary, is possibly releasing a book or a coffee table book and having all the proceeds go maybe to an organization or something, or back into the magazine. But for the regular issues, now I think I can say probably never. But I know you should never say never.
True, yeah.
But it's something that I think is not necessary.
All right. And what are some of the challenges you encounter being a content creator for such a magazine?
I can say the biggest one is definitely time management.
I think we all suffer with that
disease. Yeah. Procrastination is literally the devil himself. And unfortunately, I'm like a victim of that. I think when you work as a creative and a lot of your days and your time is dictated by however you are willing to spend it, you can really become lazy. And that's something that happened to me last year. I can say, looking back, it was a year that I think cost me a lot, because I was still very new in this business and in running this business. I still didn't know that, like, Erica, like, you're a business owner now. You know, sometimes you have to say no when people want to invite you out. And so I think also being young plays a very big factor. Whereas in your brain, you know that, like, age is just a number and that it doesn't really stop me or inhibit me. But when it comes time to meeting other people that are much older than you, that possibly, like, you want to look to for investing, the first thing they'll say is, like, you know, you look pretty young. And you'll say, yeah, I am. And the first thing they'll say is, well, what do you know for a young person? Oh. So I think not just having to prove that to other people, but also proving it to yourself is still something that day by day I'm, like, slowly learning to do.
But don't let anybody walk over you because you're young. Hey?
Nah, hell no.
It's time for us to
rise up.
Take what's ours. And from now, like, going forward, like, what are some of your plans, for Buffer Magazine, Erica as well? So what you got planned?
The magazine, I think I just want to keep pumping out as much content as I can while we still have a decent amount of, like, hype surrounding our recent projects. We recently got approved and we signed our lease to have an official Buffer Magazine pop-up at Hazard Gallery and the Cosmopolitan here in Maboneng in Joburg. So that's really exciting.
Congrats, that's amazing.
Thank you. So we've just been working on putting it together. It's going to act as an office space, but also a studio space and possibly a small store for some merch that we have coming up.
Oh, shout out. Doing the things, hey?
Yeah. Outside of that, personally, I'm excited to be going to uni this year to get an education. I'm really, really excited for that and to see where it will take me.
And what will you be studying? How long are you going to be studying for?
So I'll be gone for about 4 years, but I'll always be in and out of the country. I'll be very proudly attending Parsons School of Design in Paris to study art, media, and technology.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That is fantastic. And, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and for giving the love that you guys give. Please do support her. Yes. All her details will be found down there in the link in the description box. And I just want to wish you all the best, with all that you do, the magazine, the studies, and keep putting God first, keep making your family proud, and just all the best.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Really Samuel, out.
Bye.
If it takes 8 men 10 hours to build a wall, how long would it take 4 men?
It's not going to be 5, I'm sure. That's not going to be the answer. It would take them 20 hours.
Yo, maths.
What?
It would take them no time because the wall is already built. Because
the 8 guys built it?
The 8 guys, in 10 hours, yeah.
How?
The attorney is my brother, testified the accountant. But, so the accountant testified that the attorney is her brother. But the attorney testified that he did not have a brother. Who is lying?
The guy is lying. The attorney is lying.
I can see why you say that, but nah.
Why?
No one's lying because the accountant was his sister.
Oh, so he doesn't have a brother.
Yeah, he's got a sister. What goes up and down but remains in the same place? Just, use your head, think out the box.
A wave. A sound wave.
A wave comes down, man. It stays. They don't move.
Cut.
Oh my god.